Do we have to keep doing intros now that we're on like video? Because before on audio, it was that we had to introduce ourselves to make sure that people remembered what our voices sounded like.
Mm-hmm.
But I think now that it's video, what do you think?
Well, yeah, you would be right that we would be on video now. But let me ask you this question, Andy. What if people are listening on like Spotify and they don't have a video?
Well, okay, so I did figure out that you can do video on Spotify, which
Yeah.
if you're checking that out, it is the trailer is up.
Yeah.
And it is video on there,
Mm-hmm.
which is interesting. I don't know if I want to continue with that though. I think the quality was a little bit lower than on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I might switch back to just audio on Spotify.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because like people that listen on Spotify are most likely listening on their commute, like their drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then if they want to listen to it and watch us, actually, they can do it on YouTube.
Yeah.
But I think that answers your question.
So is this the intro?
I thought that's what we were doing this whole time.
Yeah, it was. It was.
I was gonna say, I hope to God it is.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I haven't thought of one if that was the case. But no, I mean, but yeah, I think we should definitely do intros. Not this time though.
Yeah.
Definitely not
I
this
mean,
time.
I think we got it down. I'm Andy.
Yeah. Oh, we're still doing an intro? That rest of that stuff wasn't. I'm Isaac. That's what the rest of that show was.
Well, intro 5 minutes into the show. It's fine.
Well, we've done this before.
Yeah.
Once or twice.
Yeah.
So
About 50 times.
yeah, technically about 50 times for sure. Yeah. Which I think about that, and it's kind of crazy that we did 50 episodes.
It was a nice little, like, get our feet wet.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But then it was still like that's a lot of episodes.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot since we were doing like 2 in a week.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah.
Yeah, when we first started, yeah, that was, I think the one episode, it definitely treats us a little bit more right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if we were doing 2 in a week, and like I was coming here 2 times, I mean, it's fine because like I enjoy seeing you, but I think it would just get tiring.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, you don't even live that far away, but it's still a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
It makes sense. It makes sense not to do that. But you brought up before this that I had a story last time.
I did, but before we get into it, I have a quick question.
Okay.
So I brought up last week as in
No, last week. Last week.
Yeah.
I might have trimmed my beard up since then.
Yeah, and my beard may have grown. Yeah. I brought up that this is the official Ohio podcast. This official friendship podcast of Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
I figured I wanted to do a little bit like something like that related to Ohio in the episodes.
Okay, but not friendship.
Well, I mean, like kind of, sort of. It kind of goes together.
Okay.
So I went on Reddit.
Okay.
First of all, my Reddit might be a little bit cursed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know why. I've gotten a lot of porn on there. It's like
you don't know why. Yeah.
Well, okay. So on my TikTok, whenever I first started using TikTok, I was getting a lot of porn on there, and I don't know why. Like honestly, don't know why I was getting like a lot of porn, like porn stars, but I just was. And like I've recently just started using Reddit again.
Okay.
So it's like the same thing of like I don't know why. Like they just like immediately go after like the new users. So I typed in like at first I typed in funny Ohio Columbus stories. But when I did funny or Columbus, Ohio, and then it would say Columbus, Ohio freaks. So then I was like, this could be different. This could be porn, or it could be funny stories. And I clicked on it. It was porn.
It was porn?
Yeah, it was immediate. Yeah. And then I think there, yeah, go ahead.
Question though. What type of porn?
Well, I didn't click that far.
Oh, okay. Was it like blurred out or something?
Well, there was like it said NSFW, okay. So it did have like the blur or whatever.
Okay.
But then there were also like Columbus, Ohio like hookup. It was an interesting like if you're desperate and if you live anywhere, it doesn't have to be Columbus, Ohio. If you go,
probably just be able to type in
you go
your city,
yeah,
and freaks,
yeah, freaks or hookup. If you're really down bad and like Tinder or whatever is not working for you, Reddit might be the next new place to get a hookup. But so this is it's still on topic, but it's like a little far from the point. My horse has gone a little bit far.
Yeah.
The Ohio jokes that people always say, like only in Ohio kind of thing.
Yeah.
You grew up in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Has that ever bothered you? Those stupid jokes?
I wouldn't say bother me. I would just be like, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's.
I
don't think it ever bothered me.
This is coming from a guy that's moved to Ohio, that's lived in Ohio for the past 7 years. It's not been 7 years. It's been a little bit less than that. Maybe it has been 7 years. Because I lived
in 7 years.
Yeah, you're right. It might be longer, which feels weird.
Yeah.
It's like a quarter of my life at this point.
That's what I mean. Like you're almost like at the halfway point of like you living in your original state for not.
Yeah. This is a bit of a moment for me.
Yeah.
I'm
you don't have to process it.
I was like, oh my god, I've been in Ohio for this long. Well, anyway, I was on Reddit and I was looking at that and I was seeing like there were a lot of people that were like, is anyone else tired with the stupid fucking Ohio jokes? Like only in Ohio, like this would only happen in Ohio, and then like the amount of people that like actually got upset over it. I was curious from your standpoint. Because like I think that like from a comedic standpoint, you just got to take everything with a grain of salt.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't survive if you're just going to not laugh at jokes. Like
for sure.
You got to just not take jokes literally.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can talk shit about your hometown. And then, like, the minute someone else talks shit about your hometown, you kind of get defensive.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you also have to be like, yeah, you know what? I did grow up in a shithole. Like, or like, you know what? Ohio kind of is the armpit of the United States.
Yeah.
Or, like, Cleveland is the, like, where piss runs off.
It is the piss city.
Yeah.
For sure. But like, I guess, like, my big thing was, like, people would just say that it's just a shitty place to live just because of like, you know, certain things that goes on in it. Like, I don't fucking know. Like we get tornadoes once in a while. I think that's a win. You know, we do get
exactly.
You know, like that. We don't get, you know, hurricanes. That's awesome. We do have poisonous critters like spiders and whatnot, but like not as much as other states. So I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't know. It's also not affecting me whatsoever. I'm like, I'm just living here. I don't know.
At the end of the day, I think everything the whole reason why people hate Ohio is just because of sports.
That's probably fair. Yeah.
Like if you are a NFL fan, you hate Ohio just because you're probably a Steelers fan.
Mm-hmm.
And then college, you're probably just not an Ohio State fan.
Yeah, which like that I understand the most.
Yeah.
Like because a lot of people that are like Ohio State fans are like Ohio State fans and they're really like really into it. So I get that. But that's like you said, that's any sports.
And I think we're going to get into this and do like in another episode as I continue down the Ohio
the Ohio rabbit hole.
Yeah, the Ohio rabbit hole.
Uh-huh.
I think the Ohio State University is a cult.
Oh, okay. I see where you're coming from.
Like it's not just like the people in Columbus are fans. It's everyone in this state. It's hard to find someone that isn't a fan, and it's hard to find people that aren't that don't have something in their yard or
yes,
in their house of like some sort of memorabilia.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it's weird.
Yeah.
And like, I feel like in Pennsylvania, it's like Penn State is like the big school.
Yeah.
But it's not as big as Ohio State. Like they really, and I think it is like Ohio is a very close knit kind of community.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little weird.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little different, but I don't know. We can go into it more later. Yeah. I don't want to go. I don't want to continue on Ohio for too long.
Yeah.
But so please, let's hear your story that you were talking about.
Well, it's nothing crazy, but I think I have the worst time ordering food.
Okay.
Like it's a food related story because it never works. I don't fucking get it. I've told you before. I don't know if we really talked about it before on the podcast about my luck with Penn Station.
Right.
Have we talked about that on the podcast?
I don't think we have, but
okay.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because I mean it's been so long now at this point. I don't know if I remember all of it, but I think the gist of it was that I went to Penn Station for me and my wife because we both just wanted subs. Probably more I wanted a sub than anything. And so then I went there, ordered the food, and then proceeded to wait an hour before we got anything. And I was losing at that point because that whole entire time just sitting there in the store, just on my phone like, holy hell, while like 8 other people were also waiting in the store as well. I'm like, this is awful. And they were just messing up food and then remaking it, messing up more and then remaking it. I was like, this is giving me AIDS. Like, I cannot stand this anymore. So then when they finally got me the food, I was like, oh, thank Christ. I can finally leave this place. I'm just exhausted at this point because I'm like, this is ridiculous. An hour long for 2 subs. Mm-hmm. It was like crazy. So then I get home.
It'd be really funny if like while you were ordering, like other people had ordered and they got their food before you.
Oh, there was that.
Oh, okay.
There was that in that span. Yeah, for sure. And then I even got my food for people who were in there before me. Mm-hmm. So then those people were probably in there for like an hour and a half or maybe even longer.
And it's Penn Station. Like,
it's nothing crazy.
It's just like it's still fast food.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be fast food.
Yeah, exactly. Like you would think. So, but it gets worse. It gets worse because then when I get home, which is about like a, I don't know, 10-minute drive or something, we'll say, get back and then hand the wife her food. I open mine up. My sandwich is burnt. It is, the bread is like the size of a nickel. Like it's nothing, you know. It's so thin. I'm like, what the hell is this? And then there was like just shriveled up meat on it and just black. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? So I'm losing it. And she was like, I guess just go back. And I'm like, I'm gonna have to. I don't know what else to do at this point.
This is where we differ. I don't think I could go back.
Oh,
like not even like as a matter of like my food. Like you've already waited that long, and I understand like you waited that long. You're gonna like go back and make sure you get your food,
mm-hmm.
but it's like I get so uncomfortable with confrontation.
Well, see, that's just it. Like I knew I was gonna go in there and I was gonna have to talk to them about it, but I'm not one of those people that go in and I'm throwing it at them and like, you guys are shit. Like
I never experienced this, but apparently my pap would do that back home whenever like he would order food at Coney Island, of course, the home of the hot dog. He'd order his food, and then if it wasn't right, he would go storming into the restaurant, and he would like, I don't think he'd like ever like threw the food, but like he would like slam it down on the counter, and he's like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is not what I ordered.
Oh my God.
He would like go through the whole line and like cut everyone and be like, this is what I fucking ordered. Give me what I fucking ordered.
That's wild.
I want my hot dog with ketchup, mustard, and chili or something, whatever the fuck it was.
That's wild. No, I couldn't do that. Like I think even when I got back to Penn Station, I still waited in line. Like I waited in line until like I got my moment.
Like, you're already holding the bag. You're like, well, I guess I gotta wait.
Trust me, I was holding it because when I opened it up to them, I was like, "This is what you guys gave me." I'm like,
Well, you know what happened? They were cooking it for the whole hour. That's
They
why it came out burned.
They probably were. I was like, Jesus, what is this? Fucking, I don't even know. It looked like little squid on there, like like bacon, pretty much on that. I was like, this is not even the 3 types of meat I wanted. I don't even know what this is. So then I go up there, and then I explained to her. I was like, look, I just want my sandwich. I'm like, I waited an hour for it before. I was like, I truly do not want to wait another hour. Like, can you just remake this for me real quick? She's like, absolutely. I'll even refund it for you. And I was like, awesome. That's what we want. Awesome. They make it, toss it back in the bag in like 15 minutes. Not even 15 minutes, actually. And I'm like, cool, awesome, because they still had a bunch of people in there. But,
and I'll be honest, 15 minutes is still too long at Penn Station.
It's been a minute, so I don't remember how long.
But like, if it took an hour or 45 minutes, then 15 minutes makes sense for like for this Penn Station.
Yeah, but so then as I was leaving, I still saw people in there that were in there before.
And how far of a drive is this from?
Like I said, give or take about 10 minutes. So drove there 10 minutes, waited an hour, drove back 10 minutes, drove another 10 minutes back, and then waited probably like I said, 10 minutes or so again. And so they were still waiting there. So they had
the best thing is like I just remembered how the story ends.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, see, and that's what we're getting to. So then after driving back that 10 minutes, I decided, thank God I'm done. I just want to eat my fucking sandwich. Open, the bread looks like bread this time. I'm like, awesome. But then I realized my sandwich looks weird. They only put one type of meat on it, and then they put banana peppers on it. I was like, this is not even close to what I wanted. And it just broke me. It broke me at that point because I was like, I'm not going back. I didn't even technically pay for this, and I don't even want to eat it now at this point. So I think I maybe ate like half of it and threw the rest of it away because I was like, I'm so disgusted right now. I couldn't do it. So me and sub places just don't get along. I don't.
So this is where we're
this is where we're going. Yeah.
Okay.
So then I think it's just a majority of the places that I order from, and then I have to go pick up. If I DoorDash, I don't have an issue. Most of the time, I have one story of where it was an issue, but most of the time when I just DoorDash something, it's something about another person picking it up for me that they're like, oh, this isn't Isaac. I'm not going to fuck this up. So like, I don't know what it is, but anytime I have to go pick up something, it's usually fucked or I have to wait for like an hour. Don't know why. And so then my wife, she was going to be getting home a little bit later. And I just said, do you think you can pick up some food for me? And she said, yeah, probably. And then immediately after that, she said, I'm probably going to be a minute. So you might want to go pick it up. And I was like, fuck. Okay. And like, there was something telling me that it was going to be off. And I was like, okay, fine. I'll go do it. I was like, I'm going to pick up some beer anyway. Fine, whatever. Go out. And I'm like, I really want a Jersey Mike's, but Jersey Mike's is like a whole 15 minutes away. And I was like, I can't do that. 15 minutes away. Disgusting. I just want to get some beer and a sub in me. And I want to be back here watching, at the time, Trailer Park Boys. I'm like, I don't give a shit. So I saw what places were close to me. There was one place that was maybe 2 minutes farther away than the place I went to, and I was like, I'm not going there. Like, that extra 2 minutes, not doing it. So then the closest place to me was, I hit the table. The closest place to me was, fuck. Oh my God, what do I?
Firehouse Subs?
No.
Penn Station?
Jimmy John's.
Okay.
Went to Jimmy John's. I haven't eaten Jimmy John's in a hot minute, so I like got in there, was trying to figure out what I wanted to order, and it was probably like an hour before they closed. So I was like, not in there at the last second or anything.
I've heard their bread is really good. You can buy their bread.
Their bread is good.
Okay.
So
sorry to interrupt.
It's okay. So then I get in there. And like I said, hour, maybe even longer till close. So I'm just feeling pretty good. Somebody goes in there in front of me and then orders a sandwich, which she gets it wrapped in like a fucking head of lettuce. And I'm like, Jimmy John's does that? Like, it was like, it must have been like a keto thing. But like, literally like the whole entire sub was wrapped just in lettuce. Like there was no bread. That was the bread, was the lettuce. And I was like, well, I don't understand that. It was
like a lettuce wrap, like instead of like a wheat wrap. They use lettuce instead.
But they look like they use like a giant fucking fan leaf. You know what I mean? Like, it just was so absurd looking. I was like, that looks disgusting. I don't know why they would do that. But I was like, whatever. I don't care. Get up there, order my food, and I wanted like a giant sub. And so then order that. She's like, cool, whatever. She goes back to making the first person's food. You know, she's making it, whatever. I'm sitting there, you know, probably 10 minutes go by. And I'm like, okay, fucking just waiting, whatever. And then she gets done with that person's food. And she was like, what kind of bread did you want? And I'm like, oh, I just wanted normal white bread. That's fine with me. And she was like, we actually have only like 2 of them left. And they're like pretty bad. And I'm like, what do you mean pretty bad? And she like picks it up and goes and like knocks it on her hand like it was like a bat. And I'm like, okay, well, I obviously don't want that. And she was like,
well, that was, you know, good on her for not just giving it to you.
Yeah.
Because that would have been another story if you came back and you bit into it and you lost all your teeth.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay, like, sure, I do not want that. And she's like, but we really don't have too much other bread than that. And I was like, what do you mean? She was like, those are our last 2 like rolls pretty much. And I'm like, what do you...
So you know that person that came out that left with the lettuce wrap? That's why.
That's what I mean. I was like, what the... I'm like, what
do you think she ordered the lettuce? No, she didn't.
No, but like, so then I was sitting there like, what do I do? What do I do now? And I'm like, she was like, we could do like a tortilla wrap type thing, you know, if you want. I'm like, not really, you know, it's just something weird about a bunch of deli meat being wrapped in a tortilla. I just couldn't get my head around it. She's like, or I could do like wheat bread. And I'm like, I'll do wheat bread. No, that's easy.
So that's the last solution. Like,
yeah,
to her, it's like you only want wheat or you only want white bread. So I'm gonna offer everything except for wheat.
Yeah, and so like I was like, wheat bread's fine. I don't give a like. I just want one of those giant ass sandwiches. Yeah, I'm like, I don't care what it is. Just give me wheat bread. That's fine. And so then I sit back down because she starts working on it, and she was like, I'm not going to be able to make this into like a giant sub though like you want, so do you want 2 sandwiches? And I'm like, what do you mean?
Where did you go? Where are you? You're not at Jimmy John's. You're in a different fucking like dimension.
So then I'm like, I only need the one. I don't understand this. She was like, are you sure that's not going to be as big? And I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean it's not going to be as big? I'm like, it's just the bread. Like, I don't understand this. I'm like, why do I need 2 of them? And she just kept saying, it's not going to be as big. And I'm like, I don't understand what you're trying to say. So then she was like, it's only going to be this big. And she holds it up. It's a slice of bread, Andy, like you would get from
That's
a
what
loaf.
I was literally about to say.
It's literally a slice. And I'm like, I spent $17 for a slice of bread. I was so like just thrown back. I was like, well, fuck it. If it's going to be that, of course I want 2 sandwiches. And then I also thought about it. I was like,
give me 3.
I want my money back. Yeah. I was like, I paid for the giant sub, which is like the size of this table. And I'm now getting this.
Yeah. Like you'd think that when you ordered, the person would say, we don't have white bread, but we have this and this and this. Also, the wheat bread is literally just a slice of bread.
Yeah, you would think. You would fucking think, bud. And so then I just had to go through that, and I was like, what? And I just didn't even know what to say. I was like, honestly, I don't want the sandwich at this point. I'm like, and I even said that to him. I was like, look, I don't really want it on that bread anyway. And like, I just did it because I thought I was going to be at least getting the size. Like, I'm okay with just being done with this. Like, just, if you can just refund my money, like I can find somewhere else to eat. It's not a big deal. Like, I don't want to be like a bother to you, but like, this isn't what I wanted. And she was like, oh, it's fine. I can get you 2 of them. I'm like, I appreciate that. But I'm still paying for something else, technically. Like, and I'm still not even getting the same amount. So I'm like, I just want my money back. I'll go somewhere else. It's totally fine. I'm not upset with you or anything. Just Just give me my money back, please. And she was like, well, how about I give you credit? And I'm like, I don't come to Jimmy John's that often. I just want my money back. And she was like, I'll put it on credit for you. I was like, I don't come to Jimmy John's. Like, please just give me my money back. And she was like, what's your phone number so I can get this in for credit? And I was like, you're the best fucking employee they have. Like, you just like, you're great for like retail and just like the food industry because you're just not taking no for an answer. So I was like, fuck it. Here you go. Here's my phone number. Gave it to her, got credit. And she was like, all you got to do is just tell them when you come back in here, the phone number. And they'll be able to get that credit for you.
And maybe they'll have the right sandwich
for
you.
And maybe, exactly, yeah. And so then I was like, okay, fine. And so...
You're going to find out that you're going to go back there in like 2 months, and they're going to say, oh, this expired the week after.
Yeah. Well, then after I got after we got that all figured out, I got my credit. She then was like, here's your sandwich, by the way, and then hands me just one. And I was like...
I thought I was getting 2.
Exactly. And at that point, I was like, I already said I didn't want the fucking thing. So I was like, I don't care. So I just took it. I was like, thank you. Have a good day. And then I...
Was there anyone else in the store?
No. No,
okay.
It was just me. And then I went and got my beer, and then it took forever because there was just a huge ass line at the fucking gas station where I wanted to get my beer, and there was like no parking spots, and everyone was like swerving in and out of me from trying to park my truck. And I was like, what is my fucking luck right now? I'm like, I just don't get it. And then I went home, ate it, and I was like,
this wasn't enough.
This was not. It was also not enough.
Were you only getting it for you? Or were you also getting it? Okay.
It was just for me, yeah, because I asked Shayna if she wanted anything, and she said no. So then, but there is more. I did go back to Jimmy John's.
Okay.
I did not have the full credit, though. It was not the full amount that they said because I ordered the same exact
Was it the
sub.
Same Jimmy John's too, or did you go to a different one?
I went to the same exact one, yeah.
Was it the same person working?
It was the same exact person working. They did not recognize me.
Man.
But then whenever I ordered it, I did get it like half off. But like she said that she gave me like $17, like almost like a full refund. I did not get the full refund for sure, but I did pay like less for it. So I was like,
well,
okay.
You paid less because she still gave you the one piece of bread.
Yeah, but hey, they had the bread that time.
That's good. And did they have the white bread or the wheat bread?
They had the white bread. Yeah, so they had the white bread. They made it better that time. And then I even got into the gas station way easier the second time. So that time it worked out for me, but I still have I still have a terrible time with ordering food. I'm
recently getting around to sub places because I always used to just go to Subway whenever I was younger. And I feel like we've been down this road, but like Subway was better when Jared was around.
There's something about what he was doing to those kids that made the subs better. You know what I mean?
It went downhill. Like I'm not saying that he was a good person. Not saying anything about him was good, but damn was he good at like marketing because man, like you would go there and you would be like, I'm gonna lose weight from eating 4,000 subs. Yeah. And the quality of food was good, but then it just went downhill afterwards.
For sure.
But that was my level of sub, like where I would go. And then we went to Kent, and then the Subway in Kent was shit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I was quickly turned away from sub places until I discovered Penn Station. But that's the only sub place I'll go. I haven't been to Jimmy John's. I haven't been to Firehouse Subs because of these situations, Isaac.
Andy,
like, I'm going to go in there, and I'm also very, like, when it comes to subs, I just get a Philly cheesesteak. Mm-hmm. I'm not a fan of, like, getting an Italian because it's just, like what, salami, pepperoni, and, like...
Yeah, you're wrong for that, by the way, but yeah.
Why?
Yeah, because it's good, Andy.
But I'm a huge proponent of if I can get it or if I can make it myself like easily, then why am I getting it? It's like the same thing whenever I go out to bars. Like, why would I get a beer whenever I can just get that at home?
It depends on the price of the beer, and I completely get that.
That's really what it is. Yeah. Like that one time when we were in Kent and we went to Barfly and this means nothing to everyone here.
No,
Unless you go to Kent.
Yeah, but I mean, also you can just explain. Barfly was just a bar.
It was just a bar. Yeah. Where the beers were like $12 for like a Budweiser.
Yeah, and you're like, fuck that.
Yeah, it's like, no, absolutely not. And then you get a rum and Coke, and it's like the regular price. And like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand that.
It's like you're so drunk that you walk in there, and they mug you, and then you say thank you for it.
Absolutely.
That's
most bars, though.
Yeah.
I will say that's most bars. But I'm not getting off the subtopic because you need to try these other sub places.
I do want to.
Yeah, we need to.
Yeah. Do they have Philly cheesesteaks there?
Firehouse does, and I imagine Jimmy John's does. Or sorry, Jersey Mike's does. Jimmy John's, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But for me, I prefer Jersey Mike's the best. I think with them and Firehouse, they're pretty good. But yeah, Subway, there's something about when you get a Subway sandwich and the tomato is yellow that you're like, I don't think this is a good... I
think something happened here.
Yeah, I don't think I'm eating fresh. Like something's telling me it's leaning not fresh here. Yeah, like if I saw that in my own fridge, I would say I need to throw that away because that's garbage. Yeah. So,
have you ever gone to like not even just like a Subway or like other sandwich restaurants? Have you ever gone to a restaurant and like you've been waiting there and they start talking to you about your day? They're just like, "How you doing today? Like, are you working today?"
I don't think so. Like the waiter?
Yeah.
No. Like they're just camping out at your table?
So this was at a Subway, so it's like you're walking down the assembly line of whatever. I go in, I'm ordering, and I don't know, they're toasting my bread or whatever. I'm waiting for it to be done. And this woman, I don't know if she's just trying to be friendly or if like what, but she just starts saying like, how you doing? I'm good. Thank you for asking. How are you? And she's like, I'm pretty good too. And she's like, are you working today? And I'm like, no, I had the day off. And like I can't even remember the full like interaction, but it was just very odd.
I thought you meant like you were at a restaurant and like a waiter just.
I understand. Like I may have like phrased it a little bit weird, but I wanted to see if like there was a situation like this.
Well, that I'm sure it's either there's the two ends. They will conversate with you, which I've had before, or they will just dead ass just keep their hand on that heater when they're toasting your bread, and they'll just stare at the ceiling while they're doing it.
That is what I am like. That's what I'm used to whenever I go to a Subway. It's like you don't even have to say a full sentence to them. Mm-hmm. You just point and you say, and then they will like, okay, you want a 6-inch sub on Italian with lettuce, tomato, pickle, and the whatever food you like, the meat you want. Like they know exactly what you want just from one grunt.
Which also, if you order a 6-inch sub, get over yourself.
Yeah,
get over yourself. Either go whole hog or just don't even go.
Well, I mean, like if you get the whole thing, then you have leftovers.
Absolutely.
But I'm an animal, and you, much like you, will eat the whole entire thing, and
absolutely,
it'll be a problem later.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure. For sure. But that's just me. Anytime I go to a sub place, I always order the largest sub there, and I'll eat probably 3/4 of it, and I'll get to like the last quarter.
That's what the problem is. It's like the same thing with pizza.
Yeah.
If you eat more than half, then it's like, I mean, with pizza, it's kind of fine because like if you have like 2 or 3 pieces left, then you at least have like a pretty good lunch.
Yeah.
You can't eat that for dinner.
Yeah.
But if I'm eating pizza, I'm going like whole thing or half of it. I can't go more because then I just can't justify like it filling me.
It depends. It depends on the size of the pizza that I would eat all of it. But most of the time, I'm probably going to go half, or I usually stick to like a 4-slice rule. Like regardless of the pizza size, if I have about 4 slices, that's usually like a good indicator for me. Like I one more, I'm potentially gonna be fat, and then 6 pieces, I'll be obese. You know what I mean? And then that's still not gonna leave me it's not going to leave me with a good amount for later. So then I'm also thinking as an obese person, like I want more food later.
We were in a situation a few weeks ago where we ordered Little Caesars.
Oh,
and one of the guys we were with ate the whole entire pizza before going out and drinking.
Which that's actually something we can talk about in another episode about our trip, because we went to Nashville. Yeah. And that's where that pizza happened. And honestly, that Little Caesars were probably like some of the best pizza that we had.
It's so odd that like people fucking sleep on Little Caesars. Yeah. It's a lot better than people think it is.
Exactly. And you know what? It's $5. So is it still $5?
They may have upped it. I don't know.
Regardless, it's cheap ass pizza. So if you buy it and you're like, oh shit, pizza, you're like, $5.
We had Little Caesars and we had Domino's, and Domino's tasted like shit.
Everyone complained about the sauce and whatnot, but like for me, like the breading and whatnot, I was in for it. Man. I was there for it.
It's because they actually season, or like they put something on their bread. But like the sauce is like, it's never there. That's the biggest thing for me, and that's like the reason why I always get extra marinara sauce to dip in, like for any pizza.
Yeah, is that your go-to like dipper?
Yeah. I know a lot of people use ranch, and ranch makes sense for pizzas with like a little bit of an obscure topping, like I don't know, bacon, sausage.
Sausage is obscure.
I don't know. I was just thinking of like something that's different. I guess sausage is pretty normal, but like you know what I mean. Like if it's something like a little bit strange, a little weirder, then like sometimes ranch is like the go-to. I know a lot of people that use hot sauce too.
Yeah.
But marinara is my go-to.
Is the go-to? Yeah. That makes sense. I bare bones it, man. I'm just going what it's like normally like.
If it's so if I bite into it and it tastes good, then I don't have to worry about it. But if I bite into it and it's drier than my asshole, then
there's an issue.
There's an issue.
There's an issue for it. Yeah. I mean, some dry asshole pizzas that would be an issue, Andy.
Going in sucks and going out sucks too.
Yeah, especially for you. Since whatever reason, dairy just hates you. Yeah, and you're like, dude, I'm gonna eat it.
That also brings up a really great point that we can talk about in another episode.
Okay.
I'll tease it here. I had a lot of cheese a couple weeks ago when I was on another trip, and it wrecked me just the same.
Yeah. Well, then I think that's a perfect way to end it then.
I agree.
With on a teaser.
Yeah.
Because we got multiple teasers. We got our Nashville trip. We got the dairy trip.
We got the
dairy trip. We got more to talk about with Ohio. Andy's probably going to come at us with some pieces of paper that have historic facts about Ohio.
I don't want to go too far. I don't want to make it like a history trip of Ohio. I want it to be funny things.
Well, what are you talking about? History can be funny.
I fucking hate this. There's a little bit of a tease there. I do have a little bit of a history story, but it's neither about Ohio, but it's not about Ohio, but it is funny. Okay. And it's something that I think we can contribute to as friendship and stupidity.
Okay. Well, then I'm here for it. So we'll just have to see. I have no fucking clue what it is.
So with that, this concludes this episode. Might be the second one. It might be the third. It might be the 15th.
It'll fall in line.
We'll find its order. We'll find its place.
Yeah. If there's one thing we know, is this show has no continuity to it. So it'll find its place.
Yeah,
for sure. All right.